So hello and welcome to Pentacube. Today I'm going to be doing 2 full setups of MFJS Meilong 3Cs. So I'm just going to be tensioning them. I'll be lubing the core and also the pieces with some lube that I have here. Alright, so let's get started. Let's open one of these up first. So we'll just start with one of them. Okay. So we've got the usual pamphlet. We don't really need that, and then here is the cube itself. So right now it feels very tight and very dry, so we'll be fixing that up in our setup. So for our first setup, I'm going to be using Diantactinous lube and Lubrical 1. So I'll be putting Diantactinous lube in the pieces and also the core, while Lubrical 1 just goes on the core. And of course I'll be tensioning it to make sure that they're even. So the first thing you need to do is lube the core. We need to disassemble the cube. So I'll just quickly do that. Okay, so now that I've completely disassembled everything, what we need now, so we don't actually need the pieces or the center caps. All we need is the center pieces itself, the springs and the screws. Okay, now we will be lubing the core with Diantactinous lube, so we won't need Lubrical 1 for now. So we'll leave that aside, and here's what we have left. So now we actually need to get the lube out and start lubing the core of this cube. So let's just open it up, and here. So first, what we need to do here is just grab the screw and the spring, and then we just put a little bit of lube on it right there. Yep. Okay. Down there. Yeah, that should be enough lube on there. So then after that we'll put it back in the center cap, and then we'll get the core and screw it back on using the screwdriver. So now we screw it in. Okay, so now all we have to do is just repeat this for all 6 of the other center pieces. So let's go. Okay, so now that I've finished lubing up the core and I've put it back on, now all you have to do is just go and put all the pieces and the center caps back on. Okay, so now that I'm down to the last 2 pieces, I'm just going to leave them out, and then I'm going to be applying some of this lube onto the tracks of the pieces, so just at the bottom there. Okay, so now that I've put together the cube, we can break it in and see how it feels. Okay, so as you can see, that cube just popped there, so it means our tensions might be a little bit too loose, so we might have to fix that later. Okay, so I just did a quick solve on that, and it feels pretty good. There's a little lube in there, so but like it's just a little bit loose because it popped right there. I mean, like corner cutting's just really good, as you can see. Like the pieces kind of separate over there, so it just means it's a bit too loose. So I'm going to just fix that up. Okay, so feels okay right now. I mean, yeah, the looseness, tightness should be pretty good. I mean, it can corner cut really well, so yeah, unless I get it popping when I use it more, then it should be pretty good tension. I'm just gonna pop the center caps back on, and then we'll add in a bit of Lubrical 1 onto the pieces. Right, now time to add some lubrical on just to speed this cube because it's a little bit slow, I can say. Right now, so shake well before use, 3 drops enjoy. Okay, so I think I should shake this first. Okay, that should be enough. And now 3 drops, so 1, 2, 3, oops, I added 4 drops. Hope I'll still enjoy. So, yes, okay, that definitely speeds the cube up a lot. So, that is pretty good. In fact, I think I might even add 1 more drop into this cube just to speed it up that tiny bit more. Because it is feeling quite slow still. Let's see. Like maybe 1 or 2 more drops. Oops, don't add it to the piece outside. So, okay, I think this cube's achieved a decent speed, so let's solve it. Okay, so overall, what can I say? This cube feels very good. It's just a bit sticky on the outside. My hands are also really sticky from the core loop. So I'm just going to go wash my hands before I start on the next cube. Okay, so I think that's done for this cube. So now let's get the next cube, and I'm pretty much going to be doing the exact same setup, except I'll make this cube slightly tighter. And I'll also be replacing Lubrical 1 with Pilube Yellow. And we'll see how that feels. So I'm just going to be repeating the same process. I'll unbox the cube and then I'll take it apart and then core loop it. So for that part, I'll just be quickly going through that. Okay, so I'm just going to solve this cube and then we'll add a bit of Pilube Yellow onto it just to speed it back up because, as I said, the setup is quite a slow setup. So let's solve. Alright, now let's add some Pilube Yellow because it's a bit slow. So I think we'll go with maybe just put a little bit inside it. So here we go. Okay, let's break it in. Oh, forgot the center cap. Okay, it did speed up a bit with the lube. Didn't actually speed up that much. A bit more. Okay, I think that's enough lube in this cube. So I'm just going to quickly solve this cube and then we'll get onto a comparison between this cube and the other cube. So I decided to do an Air 12 on each of the 2 setups. I'm displaying some of the solves right now. If you want to have a look at all of the solves, then I'll link to those in the description. So I just wanted to talk about these 2 setups in a little bit more detail now that I've tried out these 2 setups. So the first setup, what I found that it was extremely smooth. Like, I think the Lubrical 1 in the cube made it really smooth because before I added the Lubrical 1, it wasn't actually that smooth. And it was so smooth, like I think it was actually a little bit too smooth for me, but like it's fine. Like, I think I added way too much Lubrical 1 into the cube. I think I added 7 drops or something. The cubicle recommended 3 drops, so maybe I should have just followed that. But it should be fine. I mean, the cube still feels pretty good. So now, in comparison to the second setup, The second setup is a little bit tighter, and in place of the Luke 1, it has Pilot Yellow. So the second setup is definitely not as smooth or as quiet as the first setup, and also doesn't have that good corner cutting. However, the speed is actually pretty similar to the first cube, and it does still perform pretty well. And one really interesting thing that happened on the second AO12, I somehow got a 3x3 PB single on that second setup. I don't know how. I think it was just a really lucky scramble, not that the cube was really good. Like, the actual AO12s were really bad, I guess. Like, I averaged around 18 seconds on 3x3. The first setup got a 22-second average. The second one got a 20-second average. So, on average, these perform very well. But the solves were very inconsistent. So, like, I got like 20-second or 30, even 30-second solves, while I also got like a PB solves like 14 or 15 seconds. I even got a DNF on the second average. Yeah, again, if you want to check that out in more detail, I'll put a link to that in the description for all the solves. I think I've said that before, but whatever. And if you want to see a reconstruction of my 3x3 PB single, then I'll also link to that in the description. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you found this video interesting. If you did, then please like this video and also subscribe so that you get notifications when my next videos come out. And otherwise, I guess I'll see you in the next video.